Now it's a podcast.
And you know what that means?
What?
Roll the intro.
Hello, my name is Zach.
And I am Nick.
And this is Careless Opinion.
Yes.
Presented to you by...
She Killed the Podcast.
Yeah.
Yes, son.
Yes,
and
sir.
you know the best way to start a podcast?
What?
Zach, what are you sipping on?
Don't judge me. I went to the gas station this morning and I didn't have like a lot of money to spend on booze. But you know what's really cheap and good? Corona Lights and the little skinny cans. It's a 12-pack for like $10. So, Corona Lights. Sorry.
Yeah, it's a classic beer. That's
It's a
a
good
classic.
beer.
It's a classic good beer.
What about you, sir?
Well, I am.
sipping?
Oh, you silly dude.
Silly dudes.
I am sipping my favorite beer, Double Jeopardy by Scofflaw. I do tend to drink this one a lot because I'm afraid to branch out from other beers.
Well, at least you know. You know what it means.
It's a solid 10% beer.
Hey, 10%. 10%. Well, if you look on the screen, it says our topic today is music. It says it.
And it's not lying.
It's not lying. This is the music podcast. So, where do we start?
Where do we start? How about, should we pick just a genre and delve into a single genre?
Let's start. Yeah, let's just go with the genre, man. It's a genre that, like, we've discussed talking about, but we've never talked about. Country. Never talked about country music.
There's a good reason for that.
No. I like some country. I don't like pop country, like what's on the radio. What's on the radio is like pop country. Don't leave me hate comments calling me a music snob. Please. I'm sorry that Luke Bryan and his bedazzled jeans just don't seem like music to me. My bad. Just gonna say it.
My funny bone.
Sorry. But it's like you can look at country, like Johnny Cash is technically.
I like Johnny Cash.
Who doesn't like Johnny Cash?
How can you call yourself a music fan and not like Johnny Cash?
If you're like, yeah, I'm a huge music fan, and I'm like, yeah, so you like Johnny Cash, and you're like, no. Oh, so you don't like music? Oh, it's easy as that. Johnny Cash is like, it's iconic, but I wouldn't argue this personally, but
Okay.
I've considered arguing it.
Let's hear it.
To an extent, Johnny Cash is kind of punk. Like, the American album, kind of punk. It's got that punk vibe to it on, like, the darkness behind it.
Okay.
And on top of that, I mean, he's the man in black. It's the dude who went to jail all the time. He's, like, outlaw country at its finest. But it's also very punk rock-esque. Like, the pompadour, which a lot of people associate with punk now. Very, very punk rock with Johnny Cash. And, like, I love him regardless whether you want to call it country or punk. I would definitely call it country, if anything. I know originally he didn't really set out to be a country artist, though. He just set out to be, like, a rock musician.
Yeah, I can kind of see the punkish, like in Ring of Fire, definitely.
You know many punk bands have covered Ring of Fire?
It's such a good song.
So many punk bands have covered it and made it a punk song.
First time I heard that was on Tony Hawk's Underground too.
Me too. Yep. That revealed how old we are.
Oh no.
Roll the credits. Yep. Play the outro quick.
Okay.
Play me out. And then on that aspect too, punk is one we don't really talk about too much. And I feel like people sleep on punk music. I really do. I feel like people sleep on it, man. Punk music's awesome.
I feel like the only good punk band, like there's no like punk isn't really that much of a current thing, I feel like. Or at least maybe I'm just not looking for it.
It's really not that current of a thing. It's very rare that you find punk bands that are out now that are still doing it. Like you have like the Interrupters. It's like they're definitely punk, and it's a female front. She's really really talented. And then Rancid still is doing like music.
Really?
Yeah, like Leftover Crack who's still doing music, I think. But Coffin Cats, that band I showed you,
that was so good.
Their vocalist plays a stand-up bass. It's like punk rock Elvis.
It's sick.
It's so good. Yeah, Coffin Cats is one that, like, anyone who's a big fan of punk, look up Coffin Cats. It's spelled with K's, by the way.
That's probably why you can never find it.
It's probably exactly why you can never find it. Yep, it's Coffin with a K and Cats with a K. Really, really good. And then other than that, I mean, like, you have the Misfits who are trying to do, like, reunion shows, but they're not releasing anything, like, new.
Yeah.
You have like Henry Rollins from Black Flag. Now Henry Rollins does have a band actually called Rollins Band, and they're pretty punk.
Okay.
It's essentially Black Flag.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but it's really good. It's really really good. But I feel like punk music influences a lot of stuff that people don't think about.
Yeah.
Like you look at someone like Gigi Allen, who, if you don't know who Gigi Allen is, I'm not saying go look that up. You might regret it, but like Gigi Allen was like super duper punk rock, like punk rock in its finest. But you listen to a lot of bands nowadays, and there's a lot of influence from punk music. So like Gigi Allen influences a lot of country musicians. Prime example is Hank 3, Hank Williams Jr.'s son.
Okay.
He has written. I love his music. It's straight up outlaw country. It's fantastic. But he has a punk band too called the Ass Jacks. Yeah.
I'm a child for that.
But he actually did a whole, I think he has like 3 Gigi Allen cover songs out.
Okay.
And he loves them. And then you look at other punk bands, so like Black Flag, Have Heart, Minor Threat. You look at those punk bands, and this is a great way to segue into like the metal genre we wanted to talk about. If you tell me right now that bands like Black Flag and like Have Heart, Minor Threat, all those kind of bands didn't directly influence the like hardcore, the HXC scene, like
They
Ghost
100%,
Inside,
yeah.
Fear, like come on. Counterpart, exactly. You can't listen to that and be like, oh, I love this, and you like listen to Black Flag, and if you can tell me right now, I don't think that's the you're wrong.
Yeah, they were like punk was like a direct influence to the hardcore scene and pop punk.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, it has the name, but definitely the hardcore scene.
Yeah,
definitely like just the angst.
The angst.
I love me a good hardcore show.
Oh, God, I love a good hardcore show. I haven't been to one in years. I'd probably throw out my back.
Yeah.
Leave the pit in pain.
Like, oh, I did one swing and then
one spin kick later. I've never done a spin kick in my life in a pit. I just want to make that clear right now. I've never done it.
Good.
Yeah.
You're going to heaven.
That's how you know you make it into heaven. You don't do spin kicks at hardcore shows.
Exactly.
It's like when the Ghost Inside comes on, you don't immediately target a scene kid. That's how you know you're going to heaven.
I was going to say the opposite. If you target him.
If you target him, you're going to the boiler room of hell.
It's a pretty blurry line.
It's a pretty blurry line. But yeah, the hardcore scene is kind of dead.
It's dead. So was the pop punk scene.
Yeah, pop punk's super dead too. Man, all y'all had those hoodies that said defend pop punk. Y'all didn't do a very good fucking job.
Do a good job.
Y'all actually didn't even come close. All those kids with the hoodies.
They tried to tell us the story so far and just failed.
All those kids with like the hoodies with like the AK-47s. I was like, defend pop punk. Y'all didn't defend it.
Terrible job.
Getting an anchor tattoo on the back of your calf when you've never been on a ship, let alone near the ocean, does not mean you defended pop punk.
You may have had like 6 pairs of khaki shorts, but it wasn't enough, my friend. It was not. You needed at least 8 to have it stand a chance.
I know that you own 90 flat bills, but I didn't say pop punk. There's gonna be like one person who watches this who loves pop punk who's like, man, fuck this podcast.
I still love pop punk.
So do I. I love pop punk.
I was jamming the story so far last month. They put out some new songs. They're really good.
Yeah, they put out some bangers recently.
Yeah, Counterpart's coming out with a new album. I'm stoked.
Ooh.
I love me some hardcore.
So speaking of new albums, you know who let out a new album that just slaps? Take a guess what I'm gonna say.
Is it Oliver Tree?
No, but go ahead. But go ahead. I'll let you go.
It's okay.
I'll let you go first.
It's okay. Go ahead.
So Asking Alexandria. The best band in existence, and I know it sounds like I'm being sarcastic, but I'm really not. Like, you can ask Nick. My background is their new album's cover. Like, Nick, look at my phone.
Oh my god.
Think this is a game? See that? That's AA, son. Says it right there. This is not a joke. I love this band more than I love every other band. I love this. I feel this band in my soul. And their new album, you guessed it, slaps. It does. It's so good.
You showed me some songs. It's good. It's good.
Whoa. What do you mean it's good? It slaps, dude.
Okay, it slaps. I haven't heard the whole thing, so that's why I'm saying good. That's why I'm saying good.
Yeah. No, they every album they put out is kind of different. I don't qualify the album The Black as Asking Alexandria because it wasn't Danny.
That's the one where they got that one YouTube guy.
Dennis Stoff. No, that was, that's the dude from Make Me Famous.
Oh.
Yeah. Like the direct ripoff of Asking Alexandria, Make Me Famous. That dude got into Asking Alexandria. And what's so dumb about it is, he made some really impressive YouTube videos of himself singing Asking songs. And he just didn't deliver.
I saw him, I think it's the guy, because everyone said, oh my god, I can't believe he's in Asking Alexandria now. So I'm taking it we're talking about the same dude. But he did a phenomenal cover of From Closer to Closure by Of Machines.
Yes.
He did a really good job.
Yeah, that's him.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dennis Stoff really is he's a talented musician. He had a band right before Asking Alexandria. First of all, great band name. It's called Down and Dirty. Sick band name. And they were so good. Like, I was a fan of Down and Dirty. And then he got into Asking. Then Down and Dirty got a new vocalist. And they haven't really released anything. They released one single like 2 years ago. So good. And now Dennis has a new band out.
Are they good?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, they're just not. So I'm just not a fan. But Asking, aside from The Black, we way long tangent on Dennis. Their first two albums are relatively similar, but I mean, you go back and listen to Stand Up and Scream. You remember when that album came out and we all heard, "Oh my!" the final episode for the first time, dude. I remember all of us were like, nothing's gonna be heavier than this. And then like 2 years later, Periphery released an album. We're like, well, we were all wrong. But what was so dope about it is like you listen to all of them, and they're a band that grew up with their like original fans. I think is a good way to put it.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
They were all like, I mean, they're relatively similar to our age.
Yeah.
And like give or take a few years. And what's so cool about it is that first album was very much so like a scene kid, crabcore, deep V-neck album. Like, that's what it is.
Yeah.
And then their second album got a lot more grown up, a lot more put together. It's Reckless and Relentless album, which is my favorite album by them, actually. It's not my favorite song isn't on that album, but it is my favorite album for one reason only. They wrote a whole album about being rock stars at a time where every other metalcore band was talking about, I miss my first girlfriend, and I'm not going to say what my name is, Maddie Mullins, and I'm going to yell at little girls for wearing tank tops at my shows because I'm Maddie Mullins, and I'm a big douchebag. Yeah, I said it.
He had so much going for him.
He did! He was the chosen one.
He was. He literally, was doing, they had videos of him, going around, putting change in people's meters so they wouldn't get a ticket, and then he just does a 180, and it just
He got married. That's what happened. He got married, and that's what he did. I'm not saying marriage does that to you, But it did to Matty Mullins.
You were the chosen. Their first album was so good.
Everything up to Challenger was so good. Challenger was an amazing album. Then after that, nope. Just big explosion, big bads.
Yeah, I'm kind of one of those people that once you find out like someone's a jerk in the band, I'm just like, oh, I'm not interested.
I know. It's so hard for me to want to be like a supporter at that point. It's like, God, I love your music, but like you're such a douchebag.
It took me so long to get into Dance Gavin Dance with Johnny Craig because of that reason.
100%.
But I had to like once I separated the artist from the music, like I like the albums with him, but it's just not. He's just a jerk. Anyway,
he is.
Off that tangent.
But then, so yeah, Sand and Scream came out, or Rugged and Relentless, Asking second album was very much so like a rock and roll lyric base and rock and roll lifestyle, but it's metalcore. I mean, they're talking about like doing, like one of the lines on their songs is all these girls and drinks and drugs, but don't get me wrong, I'm having a fucking blast. What a... Okay, you sign me up, Danny Warsnop. And then they did From Death to Destiny, which is like a arena rock style album almost. Like it's a the songs are big. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So like they have a song called Killing You, and it sounds like you should be listening to it in an amphitheater compared to like the Tabernacle in Atlanta or like the Masquerade in Atlanta. And then The Black happened. Not a good album. Musically, it is really good. Lyrically, it's pretty okay. Dennis sucked. I think Danny went off and he did. He has a hair metal band called Harlot, which I think you would really dig. I was not that big a fan. I do like some of it. Danny's vocals, of course, are on point, but it just wasn't for me necessarily. And then he released a solo album. Awesome. Danny's an amazing solo artist. And then they did a self-titled album, which came out like 3-4 years ago. So good. And now their newest album, Like a House on Fire. And then Danny released another solo album called Shades of Blue. It's the one I showed you. Fire. Danny Warsnop cannot do wrong. Everything. Like, who do I have to kill to have that kind of talent? I don't get it. Everything he touches is just like, boom, gold. Lucky bastard. Whatever, Danny, you're not that cool. Just kidding. Please don't think I don't like you. Alright, go ahead. I went on my asking rant. I'm sorry. Go on your Oliver Tree rant. I know you're waiting. Blow it up.
You know, thought about going on an Oliver Tree rant.
Okay.
But I'm going to bring it close to home.
Okay.
I want to bring it to the real boys.
Okay.
The ATL boys.
Oh, okay.
The ATL. Is that how you make it? Anyway.
Yeah.
All right.
You're throwing up gang signs. That's an A. I know you're dyslexic.
Okay.
Yeah, I know you're dyslexic, but if you want to do an A, you do a V and you flip it upside down. You put your thumb in the middle. There you go. That's an A. Oh. Close enough. Dyslexic ass.
But I'm going to bring it close to home.
Okay.
All right. One of the most underrated bands, in my opinion, is Atlanta's own Oh Brother.
Yeah.
One of the probably my favorite band, Endless Light. They're not their newest, but the one before it. Number one out. I think I listened to nothing but that album for a year straight. That's how much I like that album. And then they put out a new album that was really different, but it was really good. But yeah, if you guys are trying to check out a really underrated band, check out Oh Brother. I think their music will.
You won't be disappointed.
You won't.
You really won't be.
I guess I'll describe them. They're a post-rock band. Google post-rock. Because the first rule about post-rock is you don't talk about it.
It's like Fight Club.
It's like Fight Club, yeah. But so they're like this post-rock band, and they're the perfect, like, if you like shoegazy, like atmospheric, feelsy music, but you're also a metalhead, they blend those two elements. Like, they're like on the fence of being a metal band and being like a atmospheric, post-rocky, wonderful, wonderful band. Please give our ATL boys some love.
They are really good. I mean, I haven't listened to a lot of them, but like the small snippets you've shown me, I'm like, oh my god, it's like watching an adventure when they play. Like you showed me the live video, it was just like watching an adventure. I was just like, what?
Yeah, they got 3 guitar players, and their bass player likes to play with his bow a lot. It's insane. They're insane. I've seen them live once. It took me like 4 or 5 years to finally see them. 1, the loudest band I've ever seen in my life. 2, one of the best bands I've ever seen in my life. So,
give them a shot. Take the shot.
Oh, and look at the new Oliver Tree. It's a banger.
And look up the new Oliver Tree.
I've been listening to it all week.
So, all right, I'm gonna say this. I'm literally just gonna like barely hint at it, and I know you're gonna fill yourself with angst because you know I'm going with it. Let's talk about bands that tried to change their sound. I'm sorry, the look on your face. You're like, I know what you're gonna say.
I know what you're gonna say.
And just didn't do very well.
Should we do a 3, 2, 1 countdown?
Yeah. All right. 3, 2, 1. Bring me the horizon. Look.
We talk about them all the time.
Look. Pray for Plagues. The whole first album, Count Your Blessings. Bop.
Yep.
It's super emo-y, but guess what? Bop.
It took me the longest time to figure out what he was saying.
Yup. Dude, Suicide Season. What an album. What is it? There Is a Hell, whatever it's called.
Yeah, that was one of my favorites.
What a good... Yeah. The masterpiece that is Sempiternal.
Yeah.
Like the pinnacle of music almost.
That
So
is metal
good.
music at its purest.
It really is.
That is such a good album.
And then, God, when they changed their sound, that's the spirit. That gave so much hope in that idea of, like, they're going in a whole new direction.
They're growing up.
And it's going to sound good. Wow, that's the spirit. Amazing album.
Yep.
And then Ammo.
That's where they lost me. I listened to, like, one song. It was, like, the first song was like, ooh, yikes.
So, Ammo has 2 songs that I love. Mantra, I don't know how you say it. Mothra. So they have this one song called Mothra. I think it's Mantra. So Mantra's really good. It really and truly is good. And then they have one called Wonderful Life. So good. Yep, that's the cut.
Yep.
That's it.
Didn't you say they were putting out another album or something?
Yeah, so they released a single. I showed it to you. It's called Parasite Eve. And, like...
It's a parasite.
It's really disappointing because they chalked up, like, we're writing the heaviest album of our careers. We're going to release the heaviest single we've ever released. And then they released Parasite Eve, and I was like, so that was a lie? Just very incorrect. It's not for me. As individuals, they're all very talented. I'll give them that all day.
Their guitar player is
so good.
a genius.
Oliver Sykes has an amazing voice.
Yeah.
I give it to them all day. They are truly an amazing band, but I think I'll just keep listening to everything before Ammo.
Yeah.
Then it's like I'm not gonna go write a mean rant on a forum and complain that I can't hear this anymore. Nah.
No.
I'll just go listen to That's the Spirit and Suicide Season and Sempiternal and
Sempiternal was that album for me. Then
yeah,
it's just like that album is just solid from start to finish. But they were like with that band that were always ahead of like the trending curve.
Yeah,
like they put out Suicide Season before like Gent even came out, so you had like that, and then, like a few years later, like you got like the Gent movement, and then it's like now they're just like the outlier. They're the redheaded stepchild.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you doing?
What's so funny about it too is I see all these people on like the internet and like on like TikTok and stuff who are like listening to Bring Me the Horizon, and they're like, oh man, you guys heard this new band?
Honey Boo Boo Child, let me tell you.
Oh, sweetheart, bless your soul. And like, don't get me wrong.
I remember when Get Up and Grind came out their first EP.
Yep. So here's what's so funny about that though, and as much as I despise TikTok, 100%, I'm happy that people are getting into different music. Because that can lead people to discover older music by them or bands that are producing music right now that's like changed their sound for the better. And it gives that opportunity for people to be like, wow, I listen to new music. I have a new favorite band. And I think that's great. I really do. But it's one of those things where I saw one the other day because I love TikTok cringes. And it was some like, I love TikTok cringe videos. I hate TikTok. Man, they got some cringy videos and they are all fun to watch. And it was like this super, like your very basic looking like white girl. It's a good way to put it. Like,
so it's like 90% of TikTok.
Yeah, it's like 90% of TikTok. Like super tan, bleached blonde hair. More or less, I didn't see it, but I would assume she probably has like a heart that looks like it's a tattoo, but it's not. She tans with an outline of a heart on herself to look cool, and and like she had like a full blown like infinity sign on her wrist tattoo, like your basic white girl.
Okay.
And she was listening to I think it was Wonderful Life by Bring Me the Horizon, and the caption on it was God. Get ready. It's when you're really feeling like listening to metal. And there's everything in me that's just like I don't go to YouTube and write comments or anything like that to be like a douche. But there's this part of me that's like growing hatred that just really wants to comment. Man, if you think that's good, you should go listen to their song "Pray for Plagues." Really throw her. Go listen to their song "Braille." And then
Black and Blue.
Black and Blue.
I will dance on your grave.
Yeah, like I would love for someone who's like super into like that to be like, oh my god, this is like the heaviest thing I've ever heard. And then they go and they like download "Pray for Plagues." And they're like, what the fuck?
Why is he yelling at me?
Yeah. I would love it. I'd kill to be a fly on a wall to watch that exact situation.
Dude, I would die if like my younger cousin like came up to me. He's like, I just found this new band. They're called Bring Me the Horizon. I'd be like, oh no.
Have you heard Pray for Plagues?
I'm at that stage of my life where this is new to them.
Yep.
It'd be like going to your parents and be like, Mom, Dad, I just found this new band called Led Zeppelin.
You know what's really funny? On exactly what you're talking about. I have someone in my life who does that. It's my dad. But the difference is he doesn't go, have you heard this new band? It's like when Asking Alexandria's new, like they released a single called Down to Hell. And my dad like texts me and he's like, you're the new Asking? It's like, no, idiot. What kind of question is that? Of course I've heard. It's on my phone already, dude. The album's midnight. Dude, the album was pre-ordered the day they released the day they released. Like, hey, you can pre-order this on iTunes. I was like, I'll wait 2-3 weeks. Click. Pre-ordered it immediately. Didn't even listen to it when I bought it. Bought it all. It showed up, and I was just like, all right, I have it. And then started listening to it, and I was like, God, this is really good. But my dad will do that, and it's really funny. Like, he sent me, when Asking was releasing their solo album, he sent me the YouTube link to Into the Fire, which is off their new album, or their solo album, and he's like, or their self-titled, he's like, dude, you heard this? What the fuck did you just ask me? Like, you're talking to the guy who's planning literally getting a part of their new album cover tattooed on my body. Yeah, I've heard it.
You know what's actually kind of funny? So on the opposite spectrum, my mom introduces me to new good music. She'll like send me like Shazams, and like one of them was like Suburban. I don't know if you've heard of them.
Yeah, I have actually.
Yeah, and like I was like, what? And like I clicked on it, and I was like, this is dope. My mom thinks this is dope.
This is dope.
And then she sent me like Biba Dopey. I don't know if you've heard of her.
No, I'm not.
She's like, she sends me like all these indie bands. I'm like, hey, my mom's listening to like a wider range than I am.
My dad will like I'll go over there and hang out with my parents, and my dad's iPad is just loaded with music, and it's like it gets real shocking at points where we're just like chilling, like in the backyard drinking a beer. And all of a sudden, like, Catharsis off of Motionless and White's new album comes on. And I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. Whoa. hey, bud, where'd that come from? He's like, oh, yeah, it's really good. You heard it? Yeah, I've heard it. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And then he'll throw me for loops. We'll be, like, sitting in the backyard, and he'll be like, Zach. I'm like, yeah, what's up? He's like, you ever listen to Bad Wolves?
Oh, my.
No, Dad, I haven't. I definitely am not wearing girl pants right now. What the hell kind of question did you just ask me? I don't have hand tattoos for my health, dude. I have hand tattoos because I'm an idiot and listened to metal growing up and was like, I want to not get a job. Like, really? Like, why did you ask me this question,
I don't
Dad?
have hand tattoos for my health. That hit me hard.
But he'll do it all the time. And it's so funny when it happens. Like, I always laugh a little bit. And I'm like, yeah, I've heard it. And he's like, okay. It's badass. My dad's good. You've met my dad.
Oh, yeah.
You've known my dad for years. His go-to. Man, that's badass. His go-to. It's so funny to watch him say it, too. Because it's like... Because you know what he looks like. I mean, he's a big dude.
Big dude.
But when a big dude like that's wearing an oversized t-shirt and
we
gym
mean big,
shorts...
like muscular, by the way.
Yeah.
Like he's built.
Like, when a dude who looks like that is wearing an oversized shirt, gym shorts, who shaves his legs, by the way, and he's wearing a Pittsburgh Steelers hat, and he's like, yeah, it's badass. With, like, this slack on it. It's like... It's really good. Oh, man. Good God. We should get my dad on the podcast. Anyway, one day. Well, guys, that's all the time we have today for...
Well, I have an interesting idea before we wrap this up. So
hold on.
The two bands that we went on a rant on, let's recommend one song for the viewers to go and check out since we went on two tangents.
Go first.
Okay. Black Hole by O Brother.
Go listen to Anti-Socialist by Asking Alexandria.
All right.
Like, now. You can actually leave this video and go do that because you're on the right platform. But before you leave this video, don't you dare leave this video without liking it,
commenting,
subscribing to our channel,
sharing,
turning on the notification bell,
caring,
and following us on the old InstaFans.
InstaFans.
Which you can actually do right after this video. You can click the link on our banner.
It's right there, boo.
It's right there, boo. Well, again, thank you guys so much. My name's not Nick.
And my name is not Zach.
And this has been Careless Opinion Podcast. And we will see you guys next time.
Podcast.